So you're trying to get a job, you're trying to get your resume to stand out but you do all these applications and you're not getting any interviews. How do you get the attention that you know you deserve because you know you have the skills to do the job well, right? I'm going to show you in this video the process that I use to tailor my resume to a specific job description, all right? And you can check out my other video where I give you high-level thoughts on how to think about the resume, a new way to think about the resume, and what I had to do to stop struggling and to finally get companies interested in my resume. So here I've got an example resume that I could pull it up here. There's a resume with, and this is a real resume of someone who I help people fix up their resumes, do their resumes for them. And it doesn't have any personal information. This is just a generic resume. So what we're going to do is tailor our objective, interests, education, skills, projects, and everything to a specific job description. So let's get started. Number one, the first thing you want to look at is the top 6 responsibilities that they care about for a role. So here, this company is SpaceX. You want to take a look at their belief or values, right? A future where humanity is out exploring the stars is fundamentally more exciting than one we are not. So for certain companies or any company, you kind of want to get an idea of the company vision or goal, especially if they put it in the job description, and see what they care about. A lot of them are going to be the same. They're going to be talking about innovation, moving forward, pioneers frontier, which is pretty much what engineering and science is all about. But, you know, this is just a little thing to keep in mind to put inside your volunteer section and when I say put inside, I mean give or demonstrate times where you demonstrated this kind of value, right? And because they're also going to look for a company fit, and developing technologies to make this possible with the ultimate goal of enabling human life on Mars. So anything that has to do with space exploration that you're ultra interested in, this is a good clue to what to put in your hobbies. If you actually have those hobbies, maybe you've read a book about space exploration and whatnot. But this is not the most important thing. This is for culture fit, and I would put that at the bottom of, you know, my section, right? You put it like in clubs and hobbies, interests at the bottom somewhere, and then there's that. Okay. And as far as interests, pretty much when it comes to interests or objectives, specifically put further develop electrical engineering skills, gather experience in a co-op position at SpaceX or at company that does space exploration. Yeah. Shamelessly saying exactly what they're looking for and be like, huh, interesting. They specifically want to target us. Let's talk to this guy. That's not enough. You have to also hit the top 6 skills on here. So when the hiring manager make the job description, they're looking for the first thing that comes to mind: operate PCB assembly machines to manufacture circuit boards, including but not limited to SMT placement, reflow, and solder print. So you want to use these keywords, a ton of keywords in here. Conformal coating, have you worked with that? Masking, epoxy application, do you know the definitions of those, at least if you haven't worked with them before? Component kitting and measurement. If you've done any kind of measurements, and if you've done any oscilloscope and x-ray inspection, then you want to put those in your resume and lists of experience and bullet. Routine inspection and maintenance, right? So if you've done any oscilloscope equipment, then you want to put that in your bullet points for your resume. Okay. So I would put the keywords. If you have the experience, you want to put your keywords that they have at the top there in a top skills section. Now, I've seen a video or two, maybe one video where they said, oh, don't put the skills at the top section. And they could be right, you know, it depends. But when it comes to engineering jobs, you want to give the recruiter and the hiring manager a reason to get to the next line. So what I would do is put the skills at the top, okay, and that's after your name, location, and everything. And also, by the way, I'll talk about name and location and header and what to put there. But after all that, you want to put skills ideally first. Or if you have an objective, put the objective, then put skills. The reason is because you want them to, first of all, care or understand or know that you are right for the position in the first place with your objective, right? If your objective is, oh, I just want to do another, you know, whatever job, another thing, a co-op, then it's less impactful than saying, oh, I want to work at SpaceX, in space exploration in general. Then when you put the skills, well, that's going to entice them to want to read more. Then if you put the skills next, see, I can't edit this right now, but if you want to put the skills next, then you put those up, because then you can put in those keywords that they put at the top here, SMT placement, reflow, and all that stuff. And it quickly lets them know, okay, I need to read more of this person's resume. Perform functional testing in flight hardware. Just put words like functional testing, flight hardware. Inspect PCBs for defects. You don't have to put that in the skills section, but you could say PCBAs, design PCBAs or something like that. Maintain tooling and consumable supply inventory. That's not a skill. This is something I put in a job description, in a task you've done. If you've done any kind of lab work and you've done some kind of inventory or something like that. Follow work instructions and suggest improvements. Yeah, you could pull this from any job, right? Notice how these become a little more generic. These become more generic as you go further down. So that's why I said the top 6. They're going to be more specific. They're going to cause the recruiter and the hiring manager to want to read through the rest of the resume as you include these experiences. Speaking of experiences, after you put your name, location, objective interest, and skills, then you want to put your experiences. If you don't have industry experience, you can put projects, okay? And an education, I would typically put last at the end of any resume. Now, if you're a student, obviously this person is most likely a student, a sophomore, whatnot, then, your education is going to be important. So it makes sense for it to kind of be up here. But in general, I almost always put education at the bottom of my resume. This isn't bad though, okay? If you're a student. Follow work instructions, suggest improvement. See how these last few bullet points are toward the bottom. So you're going to put bullet points that specifically say to demonstrate the skills that you're claiming that you have at the top of the skill section. Basic qualifications, high school diploma. So here, this is where education comes in, right? They'd be like, hey, this guy has the skills, or this lady has the skills. They have the interest. So they're already thinking from your resume, because of how we talked about tailoring it, they know you have the interest, specifically in them. They know that you have the skills. They see in the experience and your projects where you would have explained how you demonstrated those skills, and then, more and more of the skills. And then they're like, okay, let's see, this person has the skills. What about their education? High school diploma, they check that box off, right? Obviously, Rochester Institute of Technology, 4.0, I mean, that's amazing. And then they're going to be like, okay, they're qualified education-wise. Now, when we get into sections like preferred skills and experience, because you want to hit the minimum, this is where we go back into the resume. You want to look and see if you can demonstrate 5+ years of experience working in PCB assembly. Here's the thing. I've applied to a certain company. I won't name the company. I applied to a certain company many, many years. And like 5 years. And then it took one of their internal recruiters to tell me, hey, you have so many things done here. Pretty much the internal feedback is, we're not sure that your resume dedicated to hardware design, or we're not sure. And I'm like, what? How could you get that interpretation from my resume? The internal recruiter, she said, get rid of everything that's not related to the role, hardware engineer. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, just eliminate it. I'm like, okay, so there'll be plenty of gaps there. She said, that's fine. So I did that, and then lo and behold, I was getting interviews like that, okay? So why do I say all that? I say all that to say, when they say 5+ years experience working in PCB assembly, then you want to always put PCB assembly at the top in your list of projects. Even the title of the project, you could say PCB assembly, PCB design and assembly, PCB assembly and design of Arduino Uno. So that's the first thing that catches their eye. Then talk about PCBA, MIDI and Arduino controller. If you did some kind of PCB for that, mention that as well. External monitor, mention how you troubleshooted the PCBA or something, so that they can see clearly that you have some consistent track record for PCB assembly. Experience with SMT equipment, mention that as well. Soldering proficiency. Okay, so they're really just giving you the playbook, right? They've started you off, you know the keywords to use, and then once you go back over your experience, you litter in these things that you've done with the preferred skills and experience. Proficient with computers, the ability to use MS Office, shop floor management software, ERP, and related programs. Now, the thing I've seen in questions and articles is, should you put proficient with Microsoft Office or Excel? And I would say, yeah. Okay, so that's just so they know you know how to use the software. In the engineering world, it's a little, some people are more proficient than others, I'll say that. So you want to put that in there, just let them know, MS Office. You have to put this less often as you get higher up, but starting off, you want to at least be, for more entry-level roles, say, oh yeah, I know how to use Microsoft Office. I know how to do proper technical documentation in MS Office, okay? Strong understanding of technical documentation, engineering drawings, and schematics. So this is another opportunity where you could say done schematic capture, engineering drawing. So let's take a look. If we take a look at one of these projects, create Arduino Uno. When you say create an Arduino Uno using OrCAD Capture and PCB Editor, what you want to do is rewrite this and take the opportunity to say design schematic capture or schematic capture of Arduino Uno using OrCAD Capture and PCB Editor, as opposed to create. Why? Because they're looking for keywords, and you want to start with the keyword schematic capture, right? Because that's a word that they're looking for. It's not necessarily about just using power words unless they use the word create in here. In fact, let's take a look. Create shows up 0 times, right? But schematic shows up, well, it shows up once, but it's in their list of preferred skills. So this is going to give you the edge. So make sure you put it in there. Schematic capture of blah, 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 blah. Engineering drawings of blah, 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 so on and so on. Technical documentation, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So they see those keywords first when they start reading a bullet point of experience that you've done. And then it goes into, okay, how did you apply that skill? So a general framework you want to use is skill, how you demonstrated the skill, not power words like necessarily built, created. I'm not saying don't use those words. What I'm saying is put those keywords in first that they're looking for. It gives them a reason to read the rest of the sentence. Otherwise, they may just say, oh, he built, created, okay, where's the schematic? Where's communication? Or where's IPC? Where are my keywords at? That's what keeps them on the page, right? Additional requirements. Must be willing to work all shifts, overtime, and weekends as needed. That's pretty wild. I would not apply here, okay? Must be able to lift and carry up to 25 pounds. Okay, repetitive assembly operations, grasping, yeah, that's standard. Must be able to distinguish colors as required. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe I would apply here, get the job, and quite frankly, look for something better. Like start looking immediately, or keep looking even if you get the offer from this and go through the interview process, because nobody wants to be all stressed out and everything. But hey, getting a company like SpaceX on the resume would look fantastic. Okay, I'm not saying be a hopper, but also don't jeopardize your health just to make a buck, right? Okay, so that's how I would customize. I mean, this is a general strategy to customize your resume to any job description. If you want like a detailed step-by-step me demonstrating this, let me know in the comments below, but you can follow that and then also apply to your job. Send me your link to your resume that you've tailored to a job description. Hopefully these tips and strategies can help you to get interviews more easily when recruiters reach out. And here's the thing, if recruiters are not reaching out, then you have another problem, okay, for your resume. If recruiters are not reaching out to you and let's say you have a great resume, then that's another problem. And I can show you the strategy that I use to end the numbers game of applying to hundreds of jobs, only hearing back from a few recruiters, is spending all this time hunting. No. It's 2023, it's 2024, it's 21st century. You should not be hunting for jobs anymore. This is what I had to learn to get jobs coming to me, is a strategy I'll show you in another video.